Okay guys, it's Dr. Hansen and we're going to continue the discussion on engineering the perfect night's sleep. Remember, researchers are going to categorize where you should focus into three groups. Timing, which we covered already, duration, which we covered already, and now we're going to talk about intensity. How do we get really deep, restorative, quality sleep? And intensity is going to be a factor of light, actually. So there's a couple other things that play in, we'll cover them, but let's talk about lighting and how we use that. Remember, light is what cues your circadian rhythm. So light also is what's going to dictate or determine how deep of sleep you get and how awake you are during the day. So let's just kind of go through a normal day and we'll talk about what the lighting should be like in order to optimize your sleep. So of course, when you wake up, if you're like me, a lot of times I like to kind of ease into the day, but the reality is when you get up, you want light. So go ahead and get up, turn all the lights on, let your body know that, hey, it's now daytime, I'm awake, and time to get the day moving, and that will kind of start your timer off. As you go through the day, midday is also a key time because that is going to be the most potent time to cue and set in place your circadian rhythm. So you want to do that outside. Even if you feel like indoors is just as bright as outside, remember the luminescence of sunlight is leaps and bounds better than any artificial light. So the ideal for people is that they're outside about 6 hours a day. That's really just not realistic for the vast majority of the population. Fortunately, in the first 30 minutes, you get about 80% of the benefits. So what I like to suggest is that you shoot for about 30 minutes of daytime sun exposure. One that can get some sunlight on your skin, help you produce vitamin D. It's very good for mood and affect and avoiding depression and that sort of thing. But two, if you go outside for about 30 minutes without sunglasses and whatnot, that sunlight will send a very strong message to your master clock, that suprachiasmatic nucleus, that it is daytime. It is midday right now. And that the better you know that it's daytime, the better your body will know that it's nighttime, and the better your sleep will be. So 30 minutes of daylight during the day is perfect. And then in the evening, as you're headed home and the sun's going down, that's when you want light to start tapering off. Just like the sun goes down, you don't want to go home, turn all the lights on, and continue to pretend and signal to your body that it's still daytime. It's going to be very confusing, and your body will equate that light with daytime and being awake, and it will disrupt your sleep. So consider that the lighting in your house, a lot of times people get sold on the blue clear light that's just like daylight. That's great in the morning, but in the evening, you want to switch the lighting situation up a bit. You really want amber and yellow lights. You probably want to not turn on all those overhead lights and maybe switch to lamps and dimmer light sources, candles, fireplace, that sort of stuff instead. Have less lights on in general, and that will really help your body recognize, hey, daytime is ending and it's time to go to sleep, and help cue the bedtime. The other thing to consider is that electronics and screens and whatnot are full of blue light. Blue light is what your body perceives most like sunlight. And so those are strong, wakeful daytime messages that you don't want to be giving your body at that point. So when you get home, especially once that sun is down, you want to avoid computer screens, TV screens, phones right in the face, all that sort of thing. And that's going to be difficult because these days that's pretty much what we do at night. We'll talk a little bit more about some tactics and approaches you can use to get around that later on. But for right now with lighting, you want to avoid light in the evening, really dim it down, especially those blue lights. And what research shows is kids in particular, if they have a television screen, or these days it would be a computer, iPad, iPhone, in their room at night, they're going to get about 2 hours less of sleep on average, regardless of the rules you have in place. And that's kids. Adults are very similar. So no matter what you tell yourself about bedtime and when to get up and whatnot, if you've got screens in the bedroom, you're pretty much guaranteed to get less sleep. So get the screens out of the room, avoid that blue light, dim the lights as the sun is going down, and then at night, you really want things to be pitch black. So that could be blackout curtains. I like to use a sleeping mask, even though I've really worked to, make my bedroom black at night, pitch black, so you can't see your hand in front of your face. I still use a sleeping mask just because it's a great way to block out any little bits of light that might be getting in. So I use both to be very safe. And then you also want to consider not just light that's coming in windows or something, but all the little lights that, once your eyes adjust, seem pretty bright. So that could be the little light on the alarm system or the smoke detector or on the phone, or the if you still have like a traditional alarm clock, so it's plugged in and it's got those neon lights and you face it straight at your face. All of this equates to a lot of light. And even if your eyes are closed, if you have not just light exposure towards your eyes, even onto your skin, your body detects that and it mixes up the messaging. So we want to be very clear. It's nighttime, which means we cut out all the light, we get it as dark as possible, and we avoid, all those light sources. That sends a very strong message that it is nighttime and time to sleep. So clear messaging: daytime light. Light means this is daytime. Darkness means this is nighttime. And that is going to directly correlate to your sleep intensity. And light is key there. A couple other things that will really intensify really intensify your sleep. Exercise is great for that. Remember, we talked about the adenosine push in a previous video. So make sure that you are done with your exercise, about 3 hours prior to sleep. But getting some exercise is really going to help the intensity of your sleep. Also, a cold bath or shower is going to be great at cueing good, deep, intense sleep as well. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to get into an ice tub, but rather than getting into a steaming hot shower and warming up, if things can be kind of cooling down, think of it like going into hibernation. A cooler shower, a cooler rinse off, that sort of thing is going to help your body, again, cue good, deep, intensive sleep. So that's the third part of 3 in engineering the perfect night's sleep. Again, we cover duration, timing, and intensity. And those right there, focusing on those 3 things, lots of action steps, and that alone will make a dramatic impact on your sleep. And let's continue the conversation in the next video.